everyone. Welcome to the Steve Maxwell Drums podcast. Don't forget to check us out on our website at www.maxwelldrums.com and then our reverb stores at Steve Maxwell Drums-Chicago and Steve Maxwell Drums-New York. We also have social media, 2 Instagram accounts, at Maxwell Drum Shop Chicagoland and then at Maxwell Drum Shop. And then also on Facebook, Steve Maxwell and Steve Maxwell Drum Shop. And then, of course, check us out on Twitter at Maxwell Drum Shop. We will interview players, collectors, drum and cymbal builders, and also teachers about all things percussion. And you can go to YouTube if you want to see the video. We'll have pictures of drum shops, of drum sets, badges, cymbals, all kinds of fun stuff. So let's get started. We hope you enjoy it. 3, 2, 1. So, Steve Maxwell Jr. here with Charles Rumback, and this is our first one of these with an old friend of mine, although I just did one with my teacher from high school. Charles is an old buddy of mine from college, and this is our 5th overall podcast. So yeah, I'm real happy to have you here. How you doing, Charles?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. This is really cool.
It's been too long, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. So we're doing the jam session tonight, which should be good fun. Your trio is going to be playing, and you got some new tunes for us?
I think we're going to do a combination of things. I'm playing with Paul Bedell and Brian Courage, so it's not like the regular band, but I play with both of those guys in different groups, so I think it'll be fun.
I really can't wait.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I'm really excited to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, anytime. Yeah, it's going to be great fun. So, I just wanted to talk about what, where you're from, how you got into music, anything that you'd be happy to give us. I know you're doing some teaching now, so this is a cool background. So, where did you grow up? I think it's a good place to start.
I grew up in Hutchinson, Kansas. I was born there. It's kind of near Wichita, small town. And, I got into music and started playing when I was like 14. I started playing all the time with this band. This saxophonist in town who was a really great musician, still a good friend of mine, was my mentor back then, named Ralph Brown, and he did all kinds of stuff, but he's in this kind of R&B band called King Midas and the Mufflers. He's got like one of those old school, like huge R&B kind of saxophone sounds.
Nice, yeah, I know
but
exactly
it was
what you're talking about.
Just really fun, just like really super fun music, and as a kid, like seeing him play, it was really exciting.
So is that one of the experiences that would really kind of like burn into your memory as what got you started?
Oh, for sure, because then after I met him, I jammed with him. He did this thing in the park where they would do this like hippie jam. And so he invited me to come play on this gig, and then after that, I ended up kind of joining the band, and we had every Sunday night from 10 to 2 for like 3 years straight. This gig from when I was like 14 till almost I graduated high school.
So did you play in like middle school or high school in band or anything like that? Or
yeah, I played I started in grade school whenever you start, and they did bells and drums. And,
okay, nice.
And I didn't like it, so I quit. And then in junior high, I saw the jazz band, and I wanted to do that. And I got back into it, probably in like the 8th grade or something.
Nice. And did you? When did you get your first actual drum set that you were able to practice on at home?
I think probably around that time, like when I was in the 8th grade. My parents took me down to the drum store and financed the old CB700
cool.
drum set with like blue Evans hydraulic heads on it.
Sure, I know those. I still see those every now and then.
Yeah, pretty cool drums. But I mean, they were awesome. I used them for a long time.
Cool.
And,
so that was your first kit, and then when you were growing up, was there like a kit that you would always see that you were just like, man, I gotta have that one of these days?
I was kind of, being in the middle of Kansas and being into jazz music, I was kind of just like, fascinated by jazz drums, like small bass drums, and like I started seeing those kinds of that kind of music, but I didn't see those kinds of,
You're a little older than me. That's actually, in that era, it's a little rare. I mean, a lot of the times, especially people your age, then were just wanted bigger and more drums.
Yeah, well, I went, my uncle took me to go to the Wichita Jazz Festival in like 94 or something. I was probably like 13 or 14. And I saw Joshua Redman with Brian Blade, and he had these small drums. And I saw Tane Watts play with Kenny Kirkland, and his drums were a little bit different. But all of a sudden, there was like all these jazz setups that were so cool and had these cool different sounds.
Around like the Elastic era, that album Elastic, I think it's called.
That was before that. That would have been like after Mood Swing, around the time he did that live at the Vanguard thing. Yeah.
Cool, man.
It was exciting. It was a really exciting like intro to that kind of music.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
That's interesting. So was there anywhere to like sit in jam sessions and the such? Where you were from?
No, not really. I mean, I guess what I did was the closest to that, but that was kind of like I was the only one sitting in.
Sure.
There was like when I got a little bit older and would go up to Kansas City, there was some things like that over there.
Yeah, that neck of the woods, I don't know anything about, especially when it comes to what the music scene is like.
Yeah.
So in that first band you were in, were you guys playing like bars and stuff
We
like
just
that?
played this one bar. It's kind of funny.
They let you in?
They only let me in like because my dad went with me like every Sunday night from 10 to 2. It was funny.
Nice.
Like I was playing in bars every weekend when I was 14 till like I was 17. But anyway, so the place that we played was called Finnegans. And it's kind of named after the local legend Mike Finnegan. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's an organist who played with he's famous for playing on Rainy Day Dream Away with Jimi Hendrix on Electric Ladyland.
Okay.
That was kind of like, put him on this like big superstar map anyway. But he's from Wichita, Kansas. And he's amazing. He plays with all kinds of people, Joe Cocker and Bonnie Raitt and all these. He's like an incredible organist. And so, but he's also like a local legend kind of. So there was this bar like dedicated to him called Finnegans, and that's where I played this weekly gig. And the guy who I played with, Ralph Brown, he was on the wall. There was like a painting, like a mural of Ralph, and like I think Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix and Mike Finnegan.
Nice.
It was like the dream band. I don't know. I don't really know the whole story, but that was like my kind of eccentric country intro to jazz music.
It's always so interesting to hear these little tidbits of musical heritage throughout. I mean, it's a big country.
I know,
we
it's
live
super
in,
strange.
Each little region has their own claim to fame.
Yeah, and the weird ways that like people connect in this deep way. It's pretty hilarious and weird.
Yeah. I was talking about that in the last podcast, how your destiny, the way that it intertwines with other people sometimes, because this was one of my teachers. And it's just amazing how if this one little thing wouldn't have happened, your life could have just gone in a completely different direction.
Oh, yeah, totally. No, it's really interesting. And it's wild how like someone who you meet or encounter in life, then you don't really think about it, but then later it comes way back around. It's interesting. It's really strange.
So let's skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to stuff that's a little more relevant to like the shop.
Yeah.
And then we can go back to more like college stuff that's kind of like more just between me and you, like our history, but I think people will be more interested in the early drum shop stuff. So
yeah.
Let's say one quick thing. How did you find yourself in Chicago?
I moved to Chicago. My wife and I moved to Chicago to go to school at Roosevelt.
Okay, so that was interesting. And so you were married actually before you came out here.
Yep.
I didn't even know that.
2000. Yeah.
Wow. And then your major, I believe, was it actually composition?
Jazz composition.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it really wasn't different than the other jazz degree. I think the only difference was in private lessons I could take composition instead of drums.
Sure.
So I studied with Garlin and
he, by the way, is a fantastic trombone player who, for our listeners, played in the Buddy Rich band for at least I don't know exactly how long.
I don't know
a
how
while.
long either, but he definitely played in his band and Maynard Ferguson's band.
Yeah. And he taught my composition and arranging class. You're lucky if you got to take more classes with him than I did.
Yeah. Well, I did comp and arranging, and but then also just private lessons, and it was really. At first, it was kind of intimidating because I was not like a chops theory person at all, but like he's good at breaking it down. He knows how to just, he's one of those people who thinks of it one way, and so he's able to really communicate it well.
I agree, yeah.
I learned a lot from him.
Some teachers, they seem to make it seem more complicated than it actually is.
Yeah, they almost take pride in like the algebra of it or something, but
sure.
like...
It's funny. Sometimes I think it's maybe to preserve the position, because if you teach someone everything you know in 2 weeks, then you're out of the job. So sometimes you don't want to give it too readily.
Yeah, but I mean, people who can really speak that language, it's pretty, and communicate it like Tom. It's cool.
Yeah, just the way. Sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes maybe you don't teach like what you can do, just these couple of little things that you cannot do. If you want to be true to that language from, let's say, like 1940s, big band part writing, and
right,
and you can write some cool stuff with fairly minimal training. But yeah, then what about the drum shop? What was your first Maxwell Drums experience?
I'm trying to remember the exact first time I went in there, but
this was at this point. This is in on Michigan Avenue.
This was in the Fine Arts Building. I was working on the first floor of the Fine Arts Building at that coffee shop there that's no longer there.
Yeah, I remember.
The Rain Dog Cafe.
I remember watching you play there, man. And that was... I have to say, out of all the things... I just did a podcast about my high school, which was the Chicago Academy for the Arts. And that kind of reminded me of that. It was just you guys playing there, and people would go there to see you. Not because, not because they had to go to get some credit or something, or because it was required, but it was just... It was a
fun hang, and it was a hang. It was like the coffee shop down the block from school, so it was like...
How did you get a job there? Did you just kind of walk in one day and...
No, my friend Wes Owen. Do you remember Wes?
I don't know if I knew
He was
Wes.
kind of like... He was there already when I got there.
Okay.
So
was he
might have been
or?
out by the time he got there. Yeah.
What did he play?
A great guitar player.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I ever knew Wes.
Yeah, so he got me the job there. He worked at the Rain Dog, and he got me the job. And then, I don't know, I got to know Vincent Davis around the same time that I got to go up.
He loved
going there.
Sonar drums, small bass drums.
Oh, yeah.
Big, huge...
Well, that's how I got to know him, because we were talking about we were talking about those cymbals all the time.
I forgot to tell you, there's a guy who might be interested in your. He wanted a 26 though. You don't have a 26.
That's what I have. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't yours a 28?
No, Vincent had a 28.
Oh, okay.
No, I got a 26.
I might have a guy for you, possibly. How much? Yeah. Well, we can talk that. We can talk details later, because he's got a really, really awesome 26-inch.
Yeah.
Trans stamp, which I'm sure many of you know. That's like the 40s to 50s stamp that before they went to the big stamp, and it's a pretty sweet cymbal. Most of those are kind of lightweight and really handmade.
I remember Ben telling me, and Vincent too, being like, "Oh, there's this cymbal you gotta hear," and I'm like, "What is it?" And they're like, "It's an old 26," and I'm like, "That's ridiculous. I don't need to hear that. That's stupid. 26. I don't." And then I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to have this cymbal." And I traded my drum set. I had a Camco. I had a 60s Camco set that I had got.
Oh wow!
At CNC's Drum Shop when they were in Lawrence, Kansas, and but it was like a rewrap. It was.
So did CNC, that you're talking about the brand?
Yeah.
Did they at one point actually have a shop and sold like used drums and did trades and stuff like that? Because I don't actually know about that.
Yeah. So
I know very little about CNC.
So I moved to Lawrence, Kansas from my hometown, and the drum shop there was CNC, and they started doing custom stuff where they would take whatever drums and kind of do funky rewraps and make it match, make like weird sets and kind of strange custom, it was the 90s.
Sure.
But making these kind of weird things. But they started just getting more and more serious about it, and the quality was getting better.
It makes me think like Orange County, a little bit like that.
Kind of, yeah.
I always think, will those be collectible? Because they're all really unique, but they're all unique, so are any of them really unique?
No,
I think they will be collectible. Maybe give it another like 20, maybe.
But then they started doing like
years.
real vintage restoration stuff, and then like now they have their own machines that press their own shells, and it's incredible, their facility.
Oh yeah, they're a big part of the market nowadays.
Yeah.
I've even sold a couple of their kits, but in this region, we're not big CNC. We were like years and years ago, but we never really.
I remember when you had those like abalone snares or whatever.
That's what they were really well known for.
Yeah, that was so strange.
Those abalone is just like so beautiful. I mean, I absolutely love it. For anyone who's listening, it's like a seashell, almost like a pearl kind of, and the colors can vary over the years. And there's a lot of really awesome old Slingerland, for example, drums that had that on there. And it's really difficult to work with because it moves with, the weather a little bit like wood does. So construction can be a challenge, especially Craviato's done a couple things with that, but not a whole bunch. But in the recent series that we came, I think it was the Johnny C drums. Those had an abalone inlay. But sometimes CNC, I mean, would they do even ones with the entire shell being abalone?
I feel like I saw one of those here, like at the shop on Michigan Avenue, I think.
It's possible.
I felt like it was like you guys did a collaboration with them for just a second or something. Possible?
Really all that I know about it, because at that point I was just going to college, and I was maybe even in high school, because
this was early on.
A year ahead of me, and so, that was kind of before I was involved, but by the time I started like packing boxes at the shop, that's when I really got involved with operations, what we had, all that fun stuff. And I would say we didn't have any that I remember, and that was since we moved to Naperville, because that was the next step over there. Yeah, by that point we didn't have any at all. Did you ever check out the Naperville shop? I don't think you ever did.
I never made it over there. No.
Yeah, we were there for maybe 5 years, and then we've been here for about 4 years.
Wow. Yeah, it's wild. I went to the Times Square shop when that was there.
And it's the New York one.
Yeah. But I never. But you said they moved. I haven't been since it's
to the
moved.
new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That place was really kind of a sanctuary.
Yeah, that was amazing.
It's in a studio, which is all like soundproofed from the outside world.
Yeah.
And then it's just drums in there. It is a beautiful spot.
Elvin Jones drums were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
There was an official Elvin Jones felt. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, that was kind of a joke.
I didn't know that.
It's in some old picture that was on the old website. It's probably gone forever now.
That's amazing.
Who knows? It might have been a felt off that kid. I think Jess pinned it up there. You and Jess were buddies before he moved out here, or did you guys know each other?
Yeah, I knew him in Chicago. I'm trying to remember where we met. Was he doing stuff at the shop here in Chicago before he moved to New York?
He was just a customer. I think he would just come in and.
I knew him here, but I don't know. We knew a lot of the same musicians, so I guess we just kind of.
He was if I'm not mistaken, didn't he go up to the school?
DePaul, maybe? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool.
I think so.
So yeah, and then you got involved in the shop, and you would. I remember seeing you there. But I really, the Rain Dog Cafe, that's what it was called?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was so cool. Can you, talk about some of the groups you played with there?
Yeah.
I remember just watching it there, probably my first year, and then just having a really good time.
Yeah, I played with a lot of people that we went to school with. Wes, first of all, Wes set the thing up, and he had a weekly gig there.
I probably saw him then. I just didn't know him.
Yeah, I'm sure. A lot of the times we had either Alex Feldman or Matt Eulery or Brian Doherty or Tim Lincoln playing bass.
Yeah,
those are all people.
Are those guys? Are any of them still in Chicagoland? Because I
Eulery's still in Chicago playing all the time, doing amazing stuff. Alex Feldman's still in Chicago. He's playing a lot and teaching. think he's a
And
CPS.
Matt, what does Matt play, just for everybody?
Bass.
So, and these are all bass players.
All bass, yeah.
All really, really awesome cats that can really play.
Yeah, they're all here playing. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's.
But like we played. So anyway, we had that house band, and then I started just like kind of having my friends play. Like Rick would just let me have whoever I wanted to play. So Bill McKay would do some solo things there. Oh man, those were like my favorite. Bill McKay playing solo acoustic guitar. It was so nice.
Oh, so you kind of booked stuff.
Yeah, but I mean it wasn't like that formal, but yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, and then I don't know, we had I remember Marquise Hill being really young, like 16 or something, and playing there. And I don't know.
So how long did that place last? I know eventually they closed. Were you involved until they ended up closing, or was it?
No, I stopped working there because I went to go work at this guitar shop, and actually that shop was also in the Fine Arts building.
Oh.
But then when Tim Schroeder moved to the new location, I started working for him.
Interesting. Yeah, for anyone who's listening who knows the Fine Arts building, the cafe was, if you walk into the entrance to the north, which is on the right, it's there. And you know what that is now?
No.
Or at least
don't.
The past couple years. I don't know if right now they turned it into like one of those zombie escape things where they lock you in a room and they make it really scary.
Really?
Almost kind of like a haunted house, I guess. I don't know. I've never done it before, but at one point that's what it was. But what will they use that space for next? I think it might have even been like a dance studio at one point. But yeah. You gotta love the Fine Arts building though. Do you ever find yourself over there these days?
Yeah, I've been recording there with Caleb Willits. You know,
Oh,
Caleb?
nice. I know that he's got a place there.
Yep, he's got a really cool studio.
I'm buddies with Raul.
Yeah,
they play together sometimes. He might even make it out tonight. He told me.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah.
He does live out here now.
Yeah, he's the one who set up the drums over there at the studio, and they sound great.
Have you guys done any reel-to-reel stuff? Because I had a trade deal with him. He ended up with that reel-to-reel from Tyler Beach through me, kind of.
yeah. He's still. That's what we're still working with.
That's awesome.
We made a record with it. Yeah, we
I'd love to hear
actually making the second one now.
Do you want to do like a shout out for what? Do you guys have anything that's accessible at this point?
We've got
SoundCloud or.
Probably, yeah.
I'll put links in the description.
Look up Caleb Willits' album called Home. It's Raul plays drums on part of it, and I play drums on part of it.
Yeah.
But it's Ed Wilkerson and Greg Ward and Fred Lomberg-Holm and Rami Atasi and Tatsu Aoki. And man, it's really cool.
I think
strange music.
When I ran into you for the first time, wasn't it the opening, the
that
release
sounds
party?
right.
Yeah,
that
was the
sounds
release
right.
party for that album.
Yeah, that's right.
They did it on vinyl, so and yeah, it's avant-garde. It has
singer-songwriter avant-garde.
a little bit of singer-songwriter, some free jazz,
mm-hmm.
and that it's got an interesting push and pull to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Do you play on that? Because you did play that day a little bit. I think
me
you played
and Raul both
played.
played. Yeah.
And I think he brought his tiny little Gretsch kit.
Yeah, he did. He did.
We did our record release at the same place, Hungry Brains, a really cool club, and yeah, he brought that tiny little kit. I played on it for a night. It's a sweet kit. I really like it. Yeah, a little bit. I'm used to a 20. Actually, my favorite sizes. You probably would never guess this. I like 20, 13, 16.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, mine's 20, 13, 14.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That's even more weird.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But
It's odd because to get the difference in tuning between the 14 and the 13.
It's subtle. Yeah, it's subtle. I kind of crank the 13 though. But it's like a warmer 12. You know what I mean?
Yeah, on.
It's like a warm 8x12.
What's the kit that you use? I know sometimes you tend to use like mixture kits. I've seen you do it many times.
Yeah, I used to do that a lot more. I was using just all these different things that I had, but you know, I finally like had CNC build me a nice set, and man, I love it. And it's a 9x13. 14x14 floor tom, 14x20 bass drum, and then the snare is like 6.5 by 14, but it's nickel over brass with wood hoops.
And
so
you were
it's
talking
kind of
about
strange,
that earlier,
but I really like it.
And so, what's the finish on the rest of the drums?
It's just like a satin, like.
And I know they do a lot of different types of shells. Did you do like the maple, poplar, maple, or?
They did kind of the Gretsch style. What is it? It's like gumwood in the middle or something.
Yeah.
Maple and gumwood, I think, is what they call it.
With like a rounded edge, probably.
Yeah, but they did like a half round, and then it just like a sharp point. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like the inside is just sharp, and then it just rounds right up to it.
Yeah. Reverse round over that. In the 60s, Gretsch drums, the toms had that edge.
Oh, really?
But not the bass drums and the snare drums. And that's even true for the 3-ply stuff. It's also true for the 6-ply stuff. And then, really strangely, right when the stop sign badge started getting used, for a little while, on some drums, they didn't even cut a bearing edge at all. It would just be like a flat wood, and who knows why. And then eventually they went to like the 30-degree edge, which was really similar to what they had been using on the snares and basses.
So that's what kind of like almost like a Slingerland, kind of slightly rounded more.
Well, Slingerland's more like a baseball bat.
Oh,
that's kind of just a totally rounded over on both sides.
Okay, right.
Ludwig's like a little bit sharper, and this is like the traditional ones, like from earlier on. There are always exceptions to these. You know, the Rogers and Camco probably had edges that were much more similar to what you find in most modern drums.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of info on that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, because you can hear that you kind of have those sounds you associate, and it makes sense when you say these things. You can hear that. Yeah. Those rounder edges on some of those drums.
I love the old American brands, though, because like each one kind of represented their certain innovation that they had.
Yeah.
And nowadays it's a little bit like you can get anything from anywhere if you ask for it.
Right.
Back then it was like, well, we're Gretsch. This is what we do. We're Rogers. This is what we do.
Exactly.
You know, we're Ludwig. This is what we do. Yeah, I just did a long talk with my dad about all the different drums. That one's full of information. So if anyone's interested in more about the innovations of each company, check out, I think that's number 3 that we did. It
Cool.
should be. It's just loaded with kind of all that fun stuff.
This is on your website?
Yeah, we're getting a new website currently.
Okay.
The website kind of crashed, and so we're working on it. And we're working a lot with Reverb, and our new website's going to be much more modern, and the podcasts will all be available.
Okay.
You can always watch them on YouTube, but Podbean is where we have a lot of them, and then there's also like Apple Podcasts, so if you got an iPhone, you should be able to just find it on there. Just look up Maxwell Drums, and then there will be many episodes. There are old episodes that my dad did a long time ago, back with Jeremy in the New York shop, but the new ones are much longer. We've been averaging maybe like 45 minutes probably.
Wow.
There's just so much to talk about, so much history.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so then we found ourselves both at Roosevelt. Let's go back to how did you end up going for the composition degree at Roosevelt, jazz composition? What made you, I don't know, you got a really creative approach to music, which is something I really love. I got it personally from going to the Chicago Academy for the Arts. I would say when I went there, it was just such a unique experience, and there was a real culture of people that really appreciated many different art forms, but just seeing that was kind of a living, breathing thing there. And a lot of the people that I was going to school with really kind of awakened something in me that maybe wasn't there as much before. I always loved music, and I kind of started with jazz when I was really young. Uh-huh. But as I got older, I got into many different styles, a lot louder stuff, a lot of the times. And actually, a note about your playing, Charles. One of the things I really like about your playing is your soft touch. A lot of the times, you got a really nice touch. I'd also like to ask, where did you learn that?
Oh, thank you. I learned it from when I was in high school. I started taking lessons with this drummer, this older guy in town named Bones Hutchinson, Gene Bones Hutchinson, and he was cool name. Yeah, he was an incredible drummer. He played back in the day in the Stan Kenton Orchestra, and he played in Nestico's band, I believe it was. He was a really incredible drummer, And he would he was pretty old. When I was taking lessons with him, he was probably in his 70s. And he was, we'd go in and he'd do these lessons with whatever was laying around. We'd be playing on like the jazz band drums, but they're like giant, deep Ludwig toms with clear heads, like pretty rough. But Bones just had this amazing touch. He would use like a backwards mallet and a whatever stick and just make it feel so light and bouncy, but not weak, like still driving, but.
Yeah, because sometimes my favorite drummers tend to be dynamic drummers, and with a lot of this linear playing, a lot of the times to me when I listen to some players, the linear stuff becomes very dynamically, it just kind of stays at one level.
Yeah, for sure.
And that I really appreciate. My dad, for example, he's actually a very dynamic player. He plays just from really, really quiet stuff, and then some of those rim shots are, and they like almost like surprise you. Mm-hmm. That's a really cool thing to have. It keeps it exciting, when you play. Yeah. But I remember watching you at that cafe, man, because I haven't seen you play in a long time. One time, well, there were a couple times later in college, but really one time since the cafe days, and that was a live room.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Like, we would overpower that room a lot.
Well, and there's like windows on two sides, a wood floor, a plaster ceiling.
Remember the guy that would come flash through the window? He would flash people. Yeah,
Oh
Rick.
Man, I wish I would have seen that.
They ran him out. Probably. I mean, I probably saw that guy get ran out 10 different times.
So really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Trench coat, old school flasher. It was awful.
Jeez.
Yeah.
My body is art.
There was all kinds of craziness happening there.
I must express myself. Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
Yeah, that's. I might have gone to high school with that guy. Who knows? I had a unique high school experience. Met some very interesting characters. But
I believe it.
That's hilarious, man. I wish I would have seen that. That would have just. You guys are just playing some real deep, heavy. this asshole comes in. Oh, man.
I don't know how deep and heavy it was, but that definitely changed the focus.
For sure. Yeah, man. But cool. Well, so as we were in college, I guess you did like 4 years at Roosevelt, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you
maybe a little more than that.
Graduated, yeah, for sure. Graduated maybe a year before me, and we've already talked a little bit about some of the teachers there. Any other of the teachers that did you study like drum set performance at all?
I took drum lessons with Phil Gretsch.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Phil was
I never
great.
really spent much time with him. I was always
a great teacher.
Wertico.
Yeah, I was already with Phil when Wertico started, so I didn't switch. I didn't really know Paul, and I was really
I've heard all good things about
really
Phil.
Into Phil's what he was teaching me, and yeah, he had an amazing feel also, like that same kind of light touch, but like really good feel.
For sure. Is he still playing locally?
He is, yeah. I saw him play like probably a year ago at I think it's like a jam session he was hosting at the Serbian Village.
Oh, yeah.
You know that place?
I go there every now and then.
Yeah. Mondays, right?
Yeah, I know the piano player and the sometimes bass player. I'm on his email list. Okay. He's always sending me stuff about.
Yeah, I don't know if Phil's regularly on it, but I saw him play there. That's the last time I've seen him.
He may have actually been there when I went there last, but I can't remember. Yeah, it was a little while ago. Now I've got 2 kids, so I don't go to jam sessions. That you've got 3.
Right.
You want to talk about that for a little bit? That's a cool part of your life. Yeah, you had kids. Actually, if you look at our ages, it's almost the same. You were a little bit earlier, but
yeah. I've got 3. I've got my son's 5, and I've got twin daughters who are 3, and.
Think they're gonna grow up to be musicians?
I don't know, but I guess like how as a musician and in the music world, like what that lifestyle is like, and then how having kids,
sure.
changes that.
Yeah. I always, for me, like I just want to see them after work. I've always been kind of more of a day job type person, and the truth is, I took a lot of time off and didn't play at all. Mm-hmm. I got into like food service for a while, and that was like 70 hours a week, crazy. Whoa. So I didn't have any time to play, but Yeah, I like to be able to see them at least,
Yeah.
either in the morning for a while or in the night. If you don't see them for a whole day, it gets old. Traveling is tough too. Yeah. Do you, since you've had kids, do you do any touring around at all? I know you did some earlier.
I've done a little bit. It makes you prioritize things differently.
Yeah, name some of the groups the more like successful groups that you've been a part of. We've talked about a couple of them before we started here, but
yeah, well, I'm doing. I just did this short little tour with John Tate, this bass player John Tate, and Tony Malaby, this tenor saxophonist from New York. And we made a recording, and we did probably 4 or 5 shows. We did a festival in Ohio and 2 or 3 other shows, and then a couple things here in Chicago. And that was really fun. Those guys are amazing. Tony is like kind of one of my heroes, so it was really fun to, get to really, I've played with him a handful of times, but get to do it for a few days in a row and kind of dig deeper and develop some things. It was fun. It was cool. I've been doing some trio things with Jim Baker and John Tate, and Jim Baker's a piano player. So that's been like my focus. Is
there any place people can scope this stuff out?
Yeah, we have a new record coming out next month on Astral Spirits, and so you can find it just charlesrumback.bandcamp.com, or just Google it and you'll find it. I also have a new record on Thrill Jockey that's a duo with Riley Walker that hopefully we'll be doing some shows around. It's been tricky with everybody's schedules, but hopefully we're going to be doing some stuff.
Yeah, if you guys want to check out something on the same channel, I'm eventually going to put up probably some of the excerpts from the jam today.
Oh, cool.
And then people can check out this group. And
yeah.
This is, all fun stuff,
Yeah.
So, yeah, Charles, quick thing. I wanted to go maybe into like some things about practicing.
Oh, yeah.
You got like a light touch. Do you have any suggestion on how others could achieve, a technique like that?
Well, it's hard for me to put it into words, but like one of the things that I think helped me the most was learning these exercises where you have accents, but where, like rudimental kind of stuff, but where you can kind of get those accents on an upstroke rather than just pounding them down. And once I started to understand that, like my teacher Bones was teaching me that helped me understand, and he played traditional grip, and so he really illustrated it with that. But
do you play traditional? I can't remember.
I mean, sometimes kinda.
Maybe just flipping it around.
Just because I was copying his weird, but I can't. So I kind of play both ways.
I'm about the same. I'm always trying to make my traditional as good as my match, but when it comes to singles and just chops oriented stuff, for so long I played match that it's not even quite there yet, even to this day.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, and
but it's lighter though, because your hand is under the stick versus being above.
Yeah.
And it's different. That's why I love it for jazz.
And I think but that same kind of treating it that same way, like having the stick out a bit and like not under your wrist, but hitting an upstroke. The upstroke was the thing that I think helped me really understand how to carry things without hitting too hard, without playing heavy.
Yeah, man, right on. Yeah, playing those. Anyone who's listening who's a jazz player is going to end up in situations where you have to play very, very lightly, and there's different ways to deal with it. You can use hot rods.
Oh yeah.
You can muffle the drums, and hot rods. I really like using hot rods for maybe like Latin kind of stuff. But if I'm doing more like kind of traditional jazz stuff, I don't like the way it sounds on the ride. So I like to just play as light as possible. You can tape up the ride cymbal a little bit. I haven't even done that almost my whole career, but I actually recently did it a little bit. I was playing this really live room, and I finally was like, I'm going to try it. And it actually worked really nice. Do you ever tape up the ride?
A little bit. I just I'm not so formal about it, If it seems like it's too much for whatever situation I'm in, I'll just tape it up a little. Or
sure. Yeah, make it fit.
Something. Yeah.
Don't become too entrenched in any one
Yeah, I'm not like that. I'm not like real like sacrilege or holy about it. You know, it's just a sound to me.
Awesome. And then, just who are some cats that you're into these days who are influencing you? Just people that you're really into. You can kind of go the whole gambit, you know, New York scene, Chicago scene.
Well,
Europe.
yeah. Let me think. So some of my favorite drummers, maybe my favorite drummer in Chicago is Avriel Ra. Do you know Avriel?
I don't know, but
oh man, he's amazing. And he played.
Actually, I don't think I know anything about it.
Yeah, he plays with tons of people. I don't know how to even put it into words what he does, but he's incredible. He's one of my favorite drummers to hear.
How old is he, and has he been here for a long time?
He's been here for a long time. I don't know exactly, but I know he grew up in Chicago, and I know he lived in New Orleans for a while. Okay. But he played with Sun Ra, and he played with Professor Longhair. But I mean, his improvised just feel, it's really beyond words. He's amazing. He's my favorite, probably Chicago drummer.
I'll have to check him out.
Who else? Let's see. Who are some of my favorite drummers around right now? So many.
Have you seen Vincent Davis lately?
Oh, I did just see Vincent Davis.
I got to see him a couple times.
A couple months ago,
Elvin Lounge, way long ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me too. And I used to run into him at the shop all the time.
There's a lot of energy in his playing.
Oh man, I just saw him play with Junius Paul and Scott Hesse.
Oh, cool.
At the Logan Center where I'm working now.
Yeah, that must have been really cool.
Chicago. It was really good. I hadn't heard Vincent play in a long time, and it was really nice to see him. We caught up for a bit after.
Nice.
He's great.
And again, we were talking earlier about the preference of the enormous ride cymbal.
Yeah, totally. He didn't have. He had some big cymbals, but they weren't crazy. Like he had some pretty standard.
He actually,
stuff.
At one point he sold a bunch of his rides to us. I think he sold the 28 to us. I don't even know what that's so, you can't bring it anywhere. It's so big.
Right.
Where do you even get a cymbal bag for that? They don't even make them.
I don't know.
Like build it out of wood. So you've got some albums here that I'm just gonna hold up. Probably put this on the camera there. Check these out. Which one was earlier?
So this one just came out. This is a duet with Riley Walker called Little Common Twist. It just came out on Thrill Jockey Records. Great
so that's just
Chicago
drums
label. Drums and guitar. My friend John Hughes produced it, so there's some synths and programming that he did on it too. And Nick McCree plays bass on a couple tracks, but
very nice.
Mostly duo. Yeah, so that's that album. And
where can people go to get these?
That one you can kind of get anywhere. It's out on Thrill Jockey, so you could get it from their website.
Like digital. That's digital copies.
Digital, or you can order the vinyl.
Nice.
Yep.
Actually, I did a vinyl a little while ago. I should talk to you about how to get them out there, because
I
have about 200 copies, and I don't even know what to do with them at this point.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
I want to put them up. We had them up on the website, but the site crashed, and now they're up nowhere. I'll give you a copy before you go.
All right.
It's much more. It's real old school stuff. It's nothing like.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I've got a very open, palette when it comes to jazz music. So these podcasts, we're just gonna have all different kinds. I'm so happy you came on because, this stuff is. I would definitely say about your music, it's creative stuff. It's really. Yeah, I can't wait to hear you guys. We're about to do the jam. You can probably hear in the background the piano player warming up. Yeah. We have to go. We gotta go.
Yeah, well, thank you, Steve.
Get set to go. This is another one, June Holiday.
Yeah, this one's coming out next month on Astral Spirits. It's
awesome.
my piano trio.
And before we end here, I just wanted to say, it's Maxwell Drums podcast. Check out our website, maxwelldrums.com. We've got the Reverb store, Maxwell Drums -Chicago, and then Steve Maxwell Drums -New York. That was actually Steve Maxwell Drums -Chicago. And then on social media, you got Instagram at Maxwell Drum Shop Chicagoland, and then at Maxwell Drum Shop is a little more focused on New York events. And then we have a Facebook. Just look up Maxwell Drums on there, you'll find us. And then there's Twitter, which is at Maxwell Drums. Follow us on there. You'll see all these wonderful new updates. And then, Charles, you want to do any? I don't know I don't know how big you are into social media. Do you have?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. It's just my name, Charles Rumback, and my website, charlesrumback.com. You can pretty much find anything from there.
You're playing around Chicagoland a lot. I mean, I
I'm
see
doing
gigs.
A lot of stuff in Chicago. A couple things here and there.
Definitely
not in Chicago, but
check them out if you have some extra time. I know we got a lot of listeners who are locals, and I mean, if you're looking to, I think you just played Hungry Brain fairly recently.
Yeah, the trio. We have this
really
new album
club.
coming out. We're playing at the Brain in May for the record release show for that. So,
oh man, yeah, definitely
I'll keep you
try
posted.
and check that out.
Yeah,
cool. Well, yeah, great talking with you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, Steve.
And that's all.